And Eric, I'll pick it up here. Jonathan Schanzer is with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, and he's joining us now live by phone. Mr. Schanzer, if you could first, I need your reaction to this horrible and sad and tragic news that we're reporting, the beheading of 44-year-old David Hines, who was there on a missionary assignment.
Well, unfortunately, it's no surprise to any of us who've been watching this, and in my case, working with the family of one of the victims. ISIS has in its cells right now still, I think, several other Western prisoners, and I would expect that we will see more of this. They continue to threaten. They're saying that they're using this for leverage to tell President Obama not to conduct airstrikes in ISIS-controlled territories. Of course, the president's not going to let the beheading of one or two or three people deter a national strategy. I think this is actually the right thing to do. I'm critical of the president's policies more broadly, but certainly you can't let this get in the way. But certainly ISIS does not seem terribly concerned about how it looks as they behead one journalist or Westerner or another.
They certainly don't seem to be concerned. They seem to be determined. And what do you think in terms of the strategy that, as it stands on the table, should this be accelerated in terms of, I understand how you shouldn't necessarily react and plan your strategy as the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America. You shouldn't strategize your options based on these barbaric acts as a direct reaction to it. However, considering what has taken place, how do you think that should affect what it is that President Obama is planning moving forward, as well as the international allies?
Well, look, I think the more important question right now is how the Brits are going to react. They have been ambivalent about getting involved in kinetic action with us, and I think this has been a frustration. I think perhaps this might change their calculus. It'll be interesting to see how David Cameron and others react to this, but certainly I think it will hit home among many Brits who still believe somehow that this is not going to affect them. As for us, I think that our strategy needs to remain the same. We understand that this is a barbaric, sociopathic organization that is conquering large swaths of territory in the Middle East. It's going to threaten our interests. It's going to threaten our allies. And I have a strong suspicion that eventually it's going to threaten us here at home. And so there is an imperative now to begin to strike ISIS with, I think, with increasing ferocity. And I think the question is how long before the president really starts to ramp things up. I think that the case has been made now for the last several weeks, if not months, that the time is now.
Okay. Jonathan Schanzer, thank you very much for joining us there on the phone.
Pleasure.
Eric?